Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, as you know that Prime Minister is on a two-day visit to Uzbekistan and in Tashkent. Today he has addressed the 16th ECO summit which has its own importance, and during his address he stressed upon the trade, connectivity, integration, economic development, and also mentioned Israeli barbaric attacks on innocent Palestinians, and he urged the ECO member countries that Israel must have to take accountable for all that atrocities going on in Gaza and the West Bank as well. And he also stressed upon the early implementation of ECO trade agreement, and that is vital to have connectivity, and particularly if ECO intends to implement the transportation and all that. Prime Minister has also very brief meeting with the Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, and during that meeting it was the bilateral meeting, and not only the bilateral relations but also the fields like economic, defense, security, politics and all others were also discussed. Today, Prime Minister has the meeting with the Azerbaijan President and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. It was a very cordial meeting in between, very fruitful meeting, because Azerbaijan is not only the trade partner to Pakistan, but also Pakistan and Azerbaijan has a very robust and very connected defense ties as well. So it's a very important one, and today the Prime Minister has a very busy schedule. He will also attend the reception in the honor of the leaders of ECO countries. Along with that, the Prime Minister is expected to visit the historical city of Samarkand in Uzbekistan, where he will go to the shrine of Hazrat Imam Bukhari as well. Viewers, the second topic is very important as well, and it is also linked with the Prime Minister Kakar's yesterday's statement, in which he has categorically termed it unfortunate that after Afghan interim authority came into power, 60% of the terrorist attacks surge in Pakistan. Along with that, 500% of the suicide attacks were increased, and he has also termed that in past 2 years 2,267 innocent people of Pakistan unfortunately died in the tragic bloodshed. And along with that, he has also said that Afghanistan is keep on giving refuge to terror outfits, unfortunately, and their soil is used against Pakistan for terrorism. So we will talk in detail that how much this statement is important, and in particularly in the context of regional stability and peace. And also we will discuss the issue of smog, which is related to the air pollution, and unfortunately it has grappled particularly the central Punjab right now. A caretaker Punjab government has taken some measures, also closed down schools, colleges, universities and provincial offices as well, and also curtailed some of the transport as well in the major cities like Lahore and suburbs and different districts. And the reason that unfortunately smoke has now grappled whole of the area, and there are lots of hazards associated with smoke, air pollution, and we will talk in detail in our third segment. And the first segment is related to the Prime Minister's visit to Uzbekistan, how much it is important, and what about the meetings with the presidents of two particular countries, Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan. So we will talk in detail. So in that sense, to talk on these topics, we have in our studios Saira Ejaz. She is the senior analyst. Thank you very much, most welcome. With her, Brigadier retired Hamid Rashid Malik Sahib. He is the foreign affairs expert. Thank you very much for here particularly. And secondly, our third guest is Dr. Wasim Ishaq. He is the international relations expert. He is with us online. So most welcome to you, sir, as well. Saira, first question to you, that Prime Minister is right now there in Tashkent, and just now he addressed 16th ECO summit. Some of the silent features I have just mentioned about that ECO is a very important forum for Pakistan. Yes. That's why Prime Minister is there. And he stressed upon not only the inter-regional and intra-regional trade, early implementation of different agreements, and also he mentioned Israel as well, that Israel must have to take accountable whatever she is doing in Gaza. So how do you categorize Prime Minister's visit and his address to the ECO summit?
Actually, it is very clear that now world system has been moved to regionalism. So the importance of regional organizations and such regional connectivity is unquestionable now. And as far as this PM Pakistan's stance or the role is concerned, so Pakistan is the founding member of SCO. So we cannot, and Pakistan always fulfills its commitment to that forum. And we can make a similarity between us, like ASEAN and SCO, and SCO member states or SCO region or organization has the capacity to equate the EU style of working or the cooperation.
But what about ECO? When you are talking about SCO?
Yes.
So
yes.
What about ECO when we are talking
sorry.
about? So when Prime Minister is stressing upon the early implementation of economic cooperation organizations trade agreement, so what are the other contours? What are the other developments which are linked with this notion?
When we see the ECO and its vision for 2025, and the first key area where they wanted that the success and objective should be met was the trade. And ECO's main forum is actually for the trade between the member states, and in that connectivity they already had two agreements, that was the transport agreement as a framework agreement and also the trade agreement. But what we have seen in the past, that the trade has not got that volume and progress which the potential these countries possess. And I think the Prime Minister has been again very candid that it has urged the member states that the agreement between the member states which has been already matured and made, its implementation is missing.
Yes,
and
definitely.
How the implementation can be met, that the double tariff by the member states need to be eroded and eliminated, and at the same time non-tariff regulations need to be eased out. And by making these steps forward, I think the member state can make the trade agreement not only functional but a successful event also.
Definitely. And Dr. Wasim Sahab, when Prime Minister is stressing upon implementations, he has a very brief meeting with the Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, and during that meeting he stressed upon preferential trade agreement and Uzbekistan-Pakistan transit trade agreement to be more robust, because it was very heartening to know that these agreements were already implemented. But he said that these must have to be robust in a sense to increase trade volume between the two countries.
Thank you very much, Faisal. Let me highlight the importance of this ECO region, because we have never seen the potentials of ECO region as a whole and then towards the regional organization. Let me quote the Mackinder's theory of heartland and Spikeman's theory of rimland. Whosoever controls this area, as per these two theorists, actually controls the world. So from that perspective, this entire Central Asian region is actually the most viable, interesting and most attractive place for the entire world. But by default, Pakistan being located in its vicinity, this entire Central Asian, where all the other great powers have been trying to conquer it by some means, is already available to us. Because of our cultural linkages, because of our historical and religious linkages, all these Central Asian states, then Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan and Turkey, all these are the Muslim countries, all have a geographical contiguity. So therefore, we have assured and guaranteed support from the ECO. But the biggest challenge for the ECO is that despite having a geographical contiguity, it is hardly integrated. We have few bits and pieces of the road infrastructure, partly rail infrastructure, but not as a region we are integrated. And since it is a landlocked region, so therefore Pakistan not only provides transit trade to Afghanistan or to Uzbekistan, Pakistan is ready to support and serve the entire ECO region. So therefore, Prime Minister's speech today is very important from two contexts. One, that we are on the opportunity corridor, so therefore Pakistan's ports and Pakistan's rail and road infrastructure is available for their transit trades. Second, Pakistan through CPEC is going to establish lot many economic zones and transit hubs. So therefore, ECO region can benefit from those transit hubs for their two-way traffic from and to Pakistan and through Pakistan to the Middle East and to the Europe. So therefore, I think this is a very good opportunity for Pakistan, and the caretaker Prime Minister has taken the right opportunity at the right time to showcase Pakistan's potentials and to offer to the ECO region what all services Pakistan can do. However, we have to also keep this in mind that since last 40 years of establishment of ECO, the intra-ECO trade is hardly about 8% as compared to the two regions which were just discussed, European Union and ASEAN, which touches between 70% and 75%.
Despite
so therefore,
the huge potential.
Probably now concrete measures have to be taken to enhance this bilateral trade and multilateral trade.
So what about this important meeting with the Uzbek president, because it was again related to the overall economic dimension and Pakistan's stress upon increase in the trade volume. So how do you see that, particularly in the framework of preferential trade agreement and also Uzbekistan-Pakistan transit trade agreement?
Yes, the statement is very important, and such statements had been happening in the past as well. But the biggest challenge is how those things would be transported to Pakistan, and at bilateral level and at the multilateral level. So we have to develop the capacity of infrastructure, which has to come unfortunately through Afghanistan because of last 20 years of infighting, and also the great powers competition has remained destabilized, and which is going on even till today. So the more than the trade, bilateral trade, I think we have to, as an ECO organization, focus on capacity building of the existing infrastructure, its upgradation, and then moving on for the bilateral trade and the multilateral trade. So I think this meeting has to be comprehensive, not only touching the trade part, but overall infrastructure development as well should go on concurrently.
So thank you very much. So your point well taken. Brigadier sir, when we are talking about Pakistan relation with the ECO member countries, Azerbaijan has a very special place in that. And just today, before the Prime Minister's address to the 16th ECO summit, he has a very brief meeting with the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. So how do you see the bilateral relations between both the countries, and particularly when it was emphasized upon economic development, trade, connectivity, and among most of the agreements related to the power and gas and all that. So how do you see that?
Among the ECO countries, Azerbaijan has a very important and significant place and stature also. And as far as Pakistan relationship with the Azerbaijan is concerned, we have a very strong, affectionate relationship with them, and it goes centuries back, because the Central Asian state, the Silk Route, and Pakistan being a subcontinent at that point. So from that trade aspect also, and from the ethnicity, that is the again religion also provides us that the bond between Azerbaijan and Pakistan. And in the recent past, what we have seen, that Pakistan has fostered a defense security relationship also with the Azerbaijan. And as far as the security imperatives of the region are concerned, Pakistan and Azerbaijan has the same say, that they want, if the regional connectivity has to be a successful, it has when the region has a peaceful environment. And in that context, both countries stand unanimous that the trade and other aspect and the human development, and as far as the infrastructure is concerned, it can only be developed and built when the peace and stability prevail in the region. And I think this meeting of caretaker Prime Minister with the Azerbaijan Premier would be of paramount importance, in the sense that both countries will be able to have a consensus that how peace and stability can be ensured in the region. And on that landscape, I think they will discuss about the instability in Afghanistan and how the neighbors can help out Afghanistan, that its government is made home, that if they want peace and stability and development and economic growth to take place in the region, they need to put their home in order. They need to ensure that, as per the Doha agreement also, they need to ensure that their soil is not exploited by the hostile intelligences of India or any other country. And they need to ensure that the TTP safe haven in Afghanistan should be eliminated at priority.
Yeah, definitely it is, because viewers, we have already given some impetus to this whole gambit of relations between the ECO member countries, and particularly when we are talking about Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the country which is under turbulence from the last many decades, unfortunately, and still there are lots of issues associated with it. When we are talking about economic cooperation organizations, all member countries intend to have connectivity, integration, interdependence, boost into the economy and shared development and shared prosperity for whole of the region. Pakistan remains committed to the ECO Charter and along with that the ECO framework of development and economy. But unfortunately, the early implementation of most of the agreement, as stressed by the caretaker Prime Minister and our panelists as well, and along with that stability, peace and tranquility in Afghanistan is also the must. And our second topic is related to Afghanistan, pertaining to the yesterday's caretaker Prime Minister's very important, very vital statement that 60% rise in the terror attacks in Pakistan just because of they are eliminating from the Afghan soil, and soon after the takeover of the interim Afghan authority, 500% rise in the suicide attacks. Unfortunately, more than 2,000 of the people died. So keeping in view the Prime Minister's yesterday's statements, how you take it imperative related to the terrorism emanating from the Afghan soil?
Yesterday's PM address to the media was actually to give a reply to the irresponsible statement coming from Afghanistan. What we have seen that their Prime Minister, then their Deputy Secretary, Mr. Secretary, and as well as their Foreign Minister, Mr. Muttaqi, they were questioning about the Durand line. They were saying that Pakistan is going for the arm twisting by sending back the illegal Afghan muhajireens or migratories which came to Pakistan.
It's the international border, and if Pakistan is sending illegal foreigners to their countries, unfortunately most of them are the Afghans. So what's the problem in that? It is the, according to the international law, it is according to the domestic law. So what is in that if Pakistan adheres its own rules and regulations?
That's the point which Afghani leadership need to understand. They are Afghan by birth, by nature, by ethnicity, by any classification of terms you want to say, and they are not ready to welcome back their own Afghan people. This is very worrisome state, and they think that Pakistan should keep hosting and providing all the facilities to illegal Afghan, whereas Pakistan says, and our stance is, that all registered muhajireen or migratories, we came to Pakistan and registered with the United Nations Higher Commission for Refugees, they have a bona fide right to live in Pakistan, or otherwise if they have some legal document to stay in Pakistan. But what about those who are staying illegally?
And one point is that you're absolutely right that one point is that these refugees are, because Prime Minister has mentioned that out of many, 15 Afghan refugees or the Afghan citizens were involved in suicide bombing against the Pakistani security forces and the innocent Pakistanis. And also there are about 64 Afghans who were involved in direct attack at the Pakistani security forces. So is there any question remain on that aspect? Saira, if I ask to you that Afghan Taliban, the interim regime, has committed in the Doha agreement with the United States, in which Pakistan was the facilitator, that Afghan soil will not be used against any country, including US, including the neighboring countries, but it is keep on using against Pakistan. So why Afghanistan or Kabul or the interim authority is deviating from the Doha agreement?
After post-US withdrawal, the Pakistan's national policy or the statement was is Afghan-led peace and Afghan-owned peace process. this political and civilian leadership of Pakistan remains committed to it. But the problem is that the current Taliban regime setup which is now the political face of Afghanistan, is not willing and is not ready to, look into the situation of Afghanistan in a holistic manner. Though we agreed that the entire institutional and the governance collapse is there after the 4 decades of war and conflict and violence. But again, just blaming the international or the external forces and not looking at the holistic picture and dealing with the challenges within the state. I would like to highlight 2 main challenges for the Afghan regime current interim setup, is that the bringing internal stability by engaging the urban class of the Afghanistan, which they are in the I agree that 2 years period is not a much longer period, but at least the policies or the strategies start taking forms or shapes, which unfortunately is not there from the side of Afghan current regime or the leaders. So I guess, and another important challenge is to tackle the jihadist groups from abroad. Now I am coming to the point which you are mentioning, that
given them refuge at the Afghan soil.
Of Afghan soil. They are not keeping the main, their promise, their agreed point that they will not allow any jihadist group, any separatist group, insurgent group to use their Afghanistan soil, and they are getting failed in, tackling the challenge of those jihadist groups from abroad, not to use their soil, not to even, there are reports that they are rather sporting. They are becoming proxies of India against Pakistan. So these things, they need to, cater to it. Rather blaming and not accepting the things will not help the current regime of...
So, Brigadier Sir, why Afghanistan and particularly the current regime not adhering its own promises, the written agreements? What's the reason behind?
Basically, we have to see the strategic environment in Afghanistan, and also what the interim government there had a say as far as the population is concerned. And we have to also understand that the Taliban government's ideology by itself is the first fault line, that while on one point they want that the jihadism and the Islamic Sharia should be implemented on the world, because of this, I think their weakness and grey areas, there is a soft corner for the TTP also. And on the other hand also, what we see, that they do claim that they have control over majority of the area of Afghanistan, but I think their claim may not be right also at one point. And third point is that whenever a credible evidence has been given to the Afghan government, they showed their lack of political will to take action against the perpetrator and the sponsors of the terrorism, especially the cross-border terrorism in Pakistan. And if you critically analyze that, staging a terrorist attack is not a simple affair. You require finance, you require capacity building, you require training, recruitment, and then infiltration of those people from Afghan side to Pakistan, while we have fenced all the area. And they are supporters also and facilitators also. And when the credible evidence has been given, the Afghan government lack of prosecution of those people is actually encouraging certain people inside Afghanistan, the jihadi mindset, to stage terrorist attacks against Pakistan. And on this aspect, I think the Afghan interim government need to realize that fault lines on their part.
Definitely, and very important point that Pakistan and all other countries, they have given very credible evidence to the Afghan authority, but unfortunately they are mum, they are not reacting, they are not taking concrete actions. Brigadier Sahab, Dr. Wasim Sahab, if you just elaborate that China, Pakistan, it is not only Pakistan, China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Iran, all regional countries are showing their apprehensions. Just on 12th of October, Afghan interim authorities, Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi has a meeting with the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, and China has stressed upon the East Turkestan Islamic movement's refuge in Afghanistan, and they are surging now. So they have shown lots of apprehensions, lots of concerns. So what is it all about? Why Afghanistan is not adhering, and why Afghanistan is not taking concrete actions against all those outfits?
I think now all the regional countries are worried because of the lack of capacity and lack of political will.
I think so. It's not audible, some technical issue. So, Brigadier Sahab, to you, the same question. All regional countries have the apprehensions, concerns. Pakistan is not only showing concerns, all countries are giving concrete evidences to them. So, what's the reason why interim authority is not taking actions?
We have to see a larger perspective. Why the neighboring countries and China, they are interested that there should be peace in Afghanistan, and the interim government should be a responsible government which ensure regional peace and stability. And from that angle, what we see that BRI as well as CPEC as well as ECO, regional connectivity, all these things hinges upon that there is a peace and stability in Afghanistan. And on the other hand, what we see that the Taliban government, while they claim that they should be recognized as the justified government of Afghanistan, they are not ready for the intra-Afghan dialogue. They are not ready to make sure that the voices of the opposition are also heard and addressed. The concerns of the neighbors are addressed, and with this, I think, attitude of inactivity, the problem for Afghan government will be multifarious. They need to understand that in geo-economic environment and dimensions, they can only exploit their potential of regional activity when there is a peace, when they become a peace-loving neighbors for the other countries around them. And from that perspective, China is trying to play a very, I think, important and significant role, and trying to make them understand if they want uplift of their people and they also want their regional connectivity to be materialized and manifested, it can only be made possible when there is a responsible government in Afghanistan which adheres to the international as well as the regional laws.
Yeah, definitely. And Sarah, if we are talking about Afghanistan, so do you think that the Afghan interim authority would have any sort of political will to resolve these issues, or they are using this terrorism and the terrorist outfits who have taken refuge at the Afghan soil as a tool of its foreign policy, as a leverage through these proxies?
See, the real test for Afghan Talibans was not power, it was legitimization, it was acceptance, it was recognition and performance. I would again reiterate on performance.
Sorry.
So, for the last 2 years, as we are discussing this thing, the lack of political will is not there. Actually, they are not showing that they are ready to, deal any sort of recognition. It's very unlikely that they will be likable or they will be liked by the international community, but at least there should be some efforts. They are not ready to budge from their perspective of hardcore or extremist religious point of view. They have to work on take on board all the moderate sectors of the urban society as well. They are not doing that. Again, another important point is that stability is directly related to the stability within the state. And if they are not countering to that, and if they are not willing to address these issues, you will see that things will get even problematic for them and for the region. And I would like to, in addition to it, the regional importance. Besides Pakistan, Iran, China, some of the central states and India are directly affected by the stability in Afghanistan. Now, I would also like to discuss the imperatives or the prospects which Afghan current regime is not looking at it.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much for being with us in the studios. Brigadier Sahab, thank you very much to you as well, and Dr. Wasim Sahab, thank you very much for your presence as well online. So, as our panelists suggested, and as the neighboring countries are stressing that Afghanistan and its interim setup, interim authority, they have they must have to take action. All those banned outfits who have taken refuge at the Afghan soil and inflicting terrorism upon the neighboring countries, particularly Pakistan is the bigger sufferer of that. Pakistan has given evidences to the Afghan Interim Authority as well, and as Caretaker Prime Minister has stressed upon that Afghanistan is a neighboring country, very important country to Pakistan and to the region as well, but Afghanistan has to look inward for the stability and peace in the region. Unless otherwise peace and stability would not be there, it is impossible to have connectivity and economic development across the region. So this is the important point at which we end our first and the second topic, and here we take a very short break and stay tuned with us. Welcome back, viewers. As you know that right now central Punjab is in the grip of heavy smog. It's the form of air pollution and formed because of the effluents from the different industries along with the vehicular emissions, particularly the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfuric oxide, along with that nitrogen oxide, and all of the mixtures of different gases and its reaction with the ozone as well as the atmospheric particles and some of the aerosols as well. So it creates some sort of an atmosphere in which even the respiration is entirely difficult, and that's why the severity of the situation, Caretaker Punjab government has given one-day holiday tomorrow in not only in Lahore but also in Gujranwala and other districts as well. So the situation is very unfortunate, and even Pakistan is suffering because of the cross-border pollution as well. So this is the whole situation, and to talk on that on this particular subject, we have in our studios Dr. Shoaib Ahmed. He is the environmentalist, and along with him Dr. Khalid Waleed. He is the Senior Research Fellow at Sustainable Policy Development Institute, SDPI. He is with us online. So most welcome to you as well, sir. My first question to Dr. Shoaib sir, to you particularly. What is basically smog, how it is tricky, and what are its impacts onto the human health?
Thank you very much for inviting me and to talk about this particular issue. And I, being myself, is one of the victim of this smog, because during my last week visit to Lahore, I've been badly affected by this phenomena. Smog is basically a composition of smoke and fog. And very interestingly, this is not a natural disaster, because if you extensively read about this phenomena,
it is some kind of human-made disaster.
This is human-made disaster. And as you said in your preamble, there are some of the factors which were highlighted by you. Just to add this one thing to your preamble,
some noxious gases.
Not only noxious gases, you know, the way these construction companies are coming up, and the huge marketing companies are selling plots, and the big new cities are, to some extent, what they are claiming, we are making new cities, new town plans, and etc. And the way they are keep on removing the greenery from there, to me, because we have not heard this phenomenon a few years back. I, being environmentalist, I've been working on these issues, but you know, this was not few years back, this was not the actual case. We were suffered with fog, but not smoke. But in recent years, for the last 20 years, what we have seen that these construction companies are keep on coming, and if you just enter some time back, Lahore and Gujranwala, these were the two different cities. Now you can it's been very difficult to differentiate between the borderline of these two cities, just because of this construction work. And you know, when this phenomena occurred, and the kind of dust which is produced by these construction companies, to me, very honestly, because I have been to many industries last year. We were working on this smog phenomena, and I asked them, okay, what is your, how you these environmental impact agencies treating you? They said that they have a very zero tolerance, sort of zero tolerance with us, and they are keep on pushing us towards wall. Sometimes we are unable to produce different things. But you know, there is no check on these construction companies. And if we take one line from our today's program is just, for God's sake, there must be a phenomena. We must not give our whole land to these people, these land grabbers. I must say, they are keep on building their societies, and on the name of societies, we are losing the green land of this country.
Definitely.
And this green land is one
Absolutely
of the causes.
Right. That at least we have to adhere the law of land that must have to be implemented.
Yes,
Along
exactly.
with that, this country is not only for the real estate.
Yes, exactly.
And not only for the construction, that must have to be planned, and green cover must have to be intact.
And one more thing.
Definitely,
We have one
please.
of the classic example from Malaysia. When they were looking for a new new city, they established, they they developed Putrajaya, and it's entirely different city at a different place. You know, this is the way we are keep on inflating
and greener
our.
than Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, exactly. And we are keep on inflating our cities, and in the name of construction, we are keep on losing this land. This has to be stopped.
Definitely. We have Dr. Khalid Waleed with us online. So, Dr. Saab, what is the reason that is contributing into smog, and how we can get away from this phenomena?
Well, to understand the reason, we need to understand a linkage between economy, energy, and environment. In Pakistan, there is a multifaceted crisis right now. In terms of economy, we are suffering. In terms of energy, we are investing in unsustainable energy practices, and there are environmental factors. So we have linked our economic activities in such a way that they are degrading or they are affecting our environment badly through energy choices. One of the major contributor, obviously, we all know that there is a phenomena of crop burning, not only on our side, but on the other side of the border too, which is the significant factor. Second is that if you see the geography of this area, this region, which is affected by smog, you will see that this is the golden industrial triangle of Pakistan, Gujarat, Sialkot, and Gujranwala, and combined with Lahore. There is a multitudinous amount of industrial activity that is happening here. So it is the combination of two factors, I would say, crop burning and its effects coming from outside the border, other side of the border. Second, within Pakistan, crop burning, and then combined with industrial activities. So these have jointly caused this phenomena. Second thing which I would like to highlight here is that the time for planning, I think, has been gone. We need to plan it. Obviously, we should plan it to eliminate this phenomena back in, I would say, June, July. That was the time when we had to curb or curtail those industrial emissions and crop burnings. Now it is time to face the consequences. Consequences in the face, in we are facing right now is the lockdown in this region, and the business is being lost. So there are two approaches to that. We need to, one is preemptive approach, and second is to bear the consequences after this smoke phenomena happened. So we need to decide that whether we are going for the preemptive one or
Thank
whether
you
we
very
are
much.
going
Very much,
for this.
Dr. Khalid Waleed. Thank you very much for being with us online. Dr. Shoaib Sahab, very brief. Pakistan is also suffering from the cross-border pollution as well. So when Pakistan will get this climate justice, that at least the cross-border pollution must not be affect this?
We, to be very honest, we cannot expect any sort of justice from them. They are trying to, after us since long. What I suggest here is we must go for a collaborative arrangements, because they themselves are suffering with this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Shoaib Ahmed. That's we have a very short time now, and thank you very much, viewers, for watching our program today. This was today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.